Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Ann with R&Rvers, and I just want to bring you all along with me this evening just to talk a little bit about lupus awareness. May is the month of Lupus Awareness Month, and it's also for you all to get out and educate yourselves on lupus awareness because it is an autoimmune disease that a lot of us do not know about, never heard of, but know what lupus is. That was like me before my diagnosis in 2007. So get out there, educate yourself and others, and support by wearing your purple, butterflies, and just knowing that you are giving support to those out there that are fighting lupus, the autoimmune disease. So support me by wearing your purple. Post your purple for the rest of the month. We only have a few more weeks left in this month for Lupus Awareness Month. So just join me and the others in our community in supporting Lupus Awareness Month. So I want to thank you and others for supporting us with lupus for Lupus Awareness Month. Thank you so much. There will be a video that will be coming behind this one here just to talk a little bit about lupus awareness. You know, I'm not a professional, or I'm not trying to be a professional on this awareness. I'm just speaking from my experience and with R&Rvers, and just wanted to share with you all, the RVers out there, to share with your friends and others about lupus awareness. Let's all raise Lupus Awareness Month for May and educate ourselves, because if we don't educate ourselves, you know, on any type of underlying conditions or anything, we won't know what to expect when others ask us, what is this or what is that, what do we do, how do you feel, how did you know? Those are all questions that we all have to go through to find out exactly what lupus is and how does it affect your body. Again, lupus is an underlying, it's an autoimmune disease, which is LSE, and it can't be diagnosed by your primary care physician. It has to be diagnosed by rheumatology and blood test, which is for DNA. But again, this is Lupus Awareness Month. It's May. Get out and support us lupus warriors by wearing your purple, little butterflies. Take that walk along with us so that we can be more educated on Lupus Awareness Month. Again, this is just Real Talk with Ann on Lupus Awareness Month for May. We still have a couple more weeks, so get out there, flash your purple, your butterflies, and support not only me, but all of us in the community that's dealing with lupus and autoimmune disease. And we will get through this together, and to God be the glory. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in with Ann with R&Rvers. I'm going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be Real Talk with Ann. And my topic today is going to be about lupus awareness. As you all know, May is the month of Lupus Awareness Month. Also, I believe domestic violence, adolescent violence, but I'm going to focus more on lupus awareness. Just a little bit about lupus. I was diagnosed with lupus and fibromyalgia in 2007, and lupus is a long life disease that can affect many parts of your body. And there are people that live with lupus and live long lives and healthy lives by taking prevention with your medications, continue talking with your rheumatologist. Now, lupus can't be diagnosed just from your regular primary care doctor. Lupus has to be done by DNA lab work and by rheumatologists. Even though you're feeling different types of ways, and you know, we all know our bodies, and we know when something is wrong. We're feeling this way or feeling that way, and just knowing that something isn't right, and just saying that, oh, it'll probably go away in a day or two, or I take this medicine for that, or take that medicine for that. A lot of times that might not be the case. By having lupus, it has to be diagnosed by a rheumatologist and DNA with lots of lab work. That's how lupus can be detected. By living with lupus, you know, you have good days and you have bad days. And you know, it can take a toll not only just on the individual, but lupus can also take a toll and be a struggle, not just your struggle, but your family's struggle as well, dealing with the disease. How can I say? Lupus is kind of hard to explain. because lupus is an autoimmune disease, and it fights your lupus attacks your good cells when your cells is trying to fight off infection, but it can affect many parts of your body, and just preventing the flare-ups and trying to cope with challenges of lupus. The best way to keep lupus is under control is by following your treatment plan, if you have a treatment plan, and just by taking care of yourself. You know, a lot of times just kind of talk to your doctor about things that's, you know, just going on with your body. Times or when symptoms get worse or you feel sick and flare-ups come up, you know, because, you know, flare-ups, they come and go. You know, you may have swelling or rashes, you know, on your skin or on your face, which that's what one of the signs is for lupus. If you get the butterfly look, will kind of be a rash that will start your face part here and will kind of go across. That's called the butterfly look. Lupus flare-ups, they often have warning signs, you know, which we can try, you know, and prevent flares, or less severe, we can spot the warning signs and get treatments, you know, as quickly, you know, as we possibly can from your provider, you know. And that's why I just wanted to take this time out and just, you know, just come on here and just do real talk, you know, with Ann, because a lot of times we don't even know, you know, or get educated on a lot of things that goes on with our bodies, because, you know, the body is an amazing, you know, vessel. You know, we go through so much as women, you know, and lupus doesn't only affect women, you know, it affects males, you know, in the same way. And, you know, and I just wanted to touch on lupus this month, because you don't hear a lot about lupus out in the community, because a lot of people are not even aware of what lupus is or haven't heard of lupus. Because I know when I was diagnosed with lupus in 2007, I was in Germany, and I remember going to an appointment because I was just in so much of pain here and there all the time, and not understanding what my body was going through or what I was experiencing or anything. You know, I just thought maybe being over in a different country, you know, my body was doing changes and all that. That was not the case. When I was diagnosed, I called my mother immediately, and I was addressing these issues with her, and I was stating to her, because I was devastated, I was upset, I didn't know what was happening, I didn't know what was going on, I never knew what lupus was, I never heard of what lupus was. My husband at that time was deployed, so I had to reach out to my mom, and she said, what is that? So right then I knew, you know, back then a lot of our family members, ancestors probably had lupus as well, but just wasn't diagnosed, didn't know how to diagnose it, didn't know what it was. Because like now, you know, it's a disease that we're dealing with, and, you know, it's been out there a long time, but there's no cure for it. They can't explain it. There's nothing. I mean, we just have to continue to educate ourselves, you know, and this awareness, that's the only way that we're going to be able to explain and get that awareness and education that we need as far as the disease, you know. Because like I say, lupus is an LSC. It's lupus, which is an autoimmune disease. That's why I wanted to raise awareness for lupus this month. Not that it's just me, you know, it's across the board, it's in the world. Lupus is out there. I wanted to get started today and start building awareness, not just for me, but just for our community, just for the world, and other people that you may know that may be going through these type things, and you just don't know what to say or how to deal with it or how to cope with it, you know. And there are lupus awareness groups out there. There's support groups out there. You can just look on the internet. You can ask your rheumatologist, you know, to give you some avenues as to where you can go for research to get to support groups, or just educate yourself on this disease. We can turn this disease into an action, you know, and for the future, you know, not just to educate ourselves, but our family members, our kids, you know, friends, you know, about this lupus awareness, you know. And why is lupus awareness so important? You know, lupus symptoms, you know, can show up in many different ways and are often mistaken for symptoms or other diseases, especially if you don't know. This is why this disease can be hard to diagnose. It's often called the great irritator, if you will. Lupus symptoms can range from mild to life-threatening. So early diagnosis and treatment from your rheumatologist is very important to be diagnosed with this disease. And during this Lupus Awareness Month, I want to encourage everyone out there, everyone, while I'm on here sharing this with you, because I am a warrior for lupus, and I want to share this with you and bring you along in this awareness month as well, to educate you so that you're able to educate someone else that may be going through it, not understanding, not able to cope with it, just not knowing what it is. That was me in 2007, which this is something that I'm still trying to educate myself on, because like I say, you have good days and bad days, and your body goes through all these changes, and you just don't understand what's going on. So I encourage everyone to learn about lupus and the physical, emotional, and economic impact that it has on people, that you may love, or may have friends that may have it, or in our communities, and there are a few triggers, that may come up for those of you that have lupus. Just to name a few, you can be overworked, and not enough of rest, being out in the sun for long periods of time, infections, injuries, and also there are some foods that can cause inflammation as well in the body. Fried foods can cause some flare-ups, canned soups, sauces, red meats, processed meat products. And when we're eating a lot of the processed food and meats and fried foods, a lot of our physicians, they already are already explaining, the pros and cons of certain foods that we eat just for the body alone. But dealing with an autoimmune disease, a lot of these foods can affect and cause our flare-ups as well. And I mean good foods as well too, So it's almost kind of like, okay, so if I eat this, I'm going to have this problem, or I'm going to have that problem. I'm not saying that that's what that's going to cause, but a lot of foods and things react differently in different individuals. All bodies are not the same. Some people go through more and experience more problems than others. But and like I say, when we're certain foods that we eat, some of the good foods, to include a high fat dairy like whole milk, cream cheeses, butter, ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. It's just kind of hard, not for only the individual that has the autoimmune disease. We experience a lot of fatigue, fever, joint pain, stiffness, swelling. And I spoke earlier about the skin rashes, which is most noticeable, like a butterfly look, like a dry on your face, rash across the face, which is sometimes these symptoms also, as I stated before, has to deal with fibromyalgia, because it has some of the same symptoms. Lupus involves, periodic, flare-ups, on which symptoms intensifies with the symptoms intensify. And remission, in which symptoms can lessen or they can disappear. You go through that remission to where you have it for a long period of time, and then after the body adjusts, and then you go into remission, and it disappears for a period of time, but it then can come back. And the interesting part about lupus is lupus can develop without any family history, because a lot of times when we're diagnosed with things, they always says that it can be hereditary, and it's only in Afro-American, or it's only in certain cultures. But lupus is definitely not hereditary. It's not a family history of diseases that there can be a genetic component in lupus within your family. But in fact, more than 100 genetic mutations have been linked up to lupus, and 20% lupus patients have a parent or siblings who has been diagnosed with the disease, and not even know. And then the worst things about understanding this lupus, we, when I say we, other individuals out there that may be going through and dealing with, lupus as well, and not really understanding what it is, just know that it's a day-to-day struggle. And if you're experiencing that, or you know someone that's experiencing that, just love on them, and then educate yourself, so when they're going through it and having questions or asking why, you'll be able to understand more of what it is that they're going through, because they're experiencing pain, extreme fatigue, they have experienced hair loss. And I tell you, when you experience that as a woman, it kind of shuts you down, if you will, because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what other people gonna think, what other people gonna say. But it should not matter, because if you have to choose life, medicine, appearance, what are you gonna choose? Life. I know I chose life, because there is medication, there is wigs, if you will, if that's what you want to do. I struggled with that for a long time, with the wigs, and then with the biopsies. They put the medication, they do the biopsy, they get the treatment, and you go through this stuff over and over and over again. And after over the period of time, you just get tired. You don't want to, do it anymore. And it was always that, what if I shoulda, coulda, woulda? What is somebody going to say? What are they going to think? And I tell you, a lot of times, when that had happened, with me and experiencing that and just coming to accept that and not knowing what to expect, my first thing was with, somebody was like, oh, when they see me, like, oh my gosh, she's sick or she got cancer. But that's the first thing that people would say, or when they look at you, they have that look on your face and be like, oh wow, because their inner mindset is like, they already think the negative, instead of just coming to the individual, asking the question. That would be more helpful, lovable, concern, compassion that anyone can do to someone that's going through any type of disease, illnesses, or medical medical life changes, if you will. Support one another. If you don't know, educate yourself, so that way you won't be going up to someone else saying the wrong things that's putting them in an awkward position or making them feel some type of a way. Educate yourselves, and believe me, I know what you're thinking. Wow. Yes, wow. That's a lot. You're correct. It is a lot. And that's why it's important for all of us to educate ourselves and each other about Lupus Awareness Month, And like I say, and one of the main enemies of individuals with lupus is being out in the sunlight, because when you're in the sunlight, lupus and the sun are not friends. Because when you're in the sun for a long period of time, they're not covered up or exposure or those fluorescent lights. It's just something about the lights, the violet lights. It can trigger flare-ups, and you don't want to be like on a vacation or something, and then you have a flare-up, or you're just not feeling well. It's because your body is going through something. Nobody else will be able to understand it but you. But once you educate them, their awareness of what you're going through and what lupus is, they'll be able to know and identify when you are having one of your flare-ups or going through flare-ups. So I just want to thank you all for tuning in here with Live Talk with Ann on Lupus Awareness Month for May. And again, get out there and educate yourself, educate friends, family. Continue to educate yourself, as that's what I am doing on lupus, because it is an autoimmune disease, and it can affect your other organs in your body, which can cause fluid around your heart, which can cause kidney disease, kidney failure. It's a lot out there that we as individuals have to educate ourselves and others on certain diseases out there, because if we don't educate ourselves and others like you to be able to help someone like me and others out there on what's going on with the body or different disease or underlying conditions, we won't know. So the best way to educate ourselves and others is awareness, right? So get out there in the community today, educate yourself and others this month of Lupus Awareness Month of May. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening and talking about and bringing up awareness, Lupus Awareness Month from May. Hello everyone. As you all know, this is May and this is the Lupus Awareness Month. I encourage each and every one of you to get out there these last few days of May and spread your awareness. Be educated and learn about lupus for this month of Lupus Awareness Month. Join us all with wearing your purple and get out there and spread your wings and spread and educate yourself on lupus